I'm Noelle. I still remember that night vividly, like it was etched into my memory with a hot iron. I was lying on the couch, feeling more comfortable than I had in days. A private nurse was checking my vitals, and the pain meds were finally doing their job. Across the room, my brother, Jake, was scurrying around like a house elf with a mountain of regrets, cooking and cleaning. Every time he glanced at me, I'd offer a small, satisfied smile. It all started when I got out of surgery. I was in a daze, still groggy from the anesthesia. The pain meds were barely keeping the agony at bay, and I felt like a malfunctioning robot as I made my way home. I had just been discharged from the hospital, fresh stitches on my body, and the smell of antiseptic clung to me like a second skin. As I opened the front door and took my first step into the house, I was met with a sight that made my blood boil. Jake, who was sitting on the couch, didn't even look up properly. He just barked, "Quit faking it and make us dinner right now." I stood there, stunned, blinking once, then twice. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. I still had my hospital wristband on, and my discharge papers were right in my hand. I smelled like a hospital, for goodness sake. I was about to say something, to tell him how ridiculous he was being, but then the room fell into a deafening silence. It was the kind of silence that made you feel like you were in a vacuum. Jake's face changed, as if he had just remembered that the world was a harsh place. And then I realized why. Standing right behind me was my surgeon, Dr. Thompson. Dr. Thompson was in his late 50s. He always wore an expensive suit and had a calm, collected demeanor. He was the kind of man who didn't need to raise his voice to get his point across. He could ruin someone's life with just a few polite words. He had insisted on walking me in because I looked so unsteady on my feet. Thank God I didn't argue with him. Dr. Thompson stepped forward and asked, "So, did you just ask a post-op patient to cook?" Jake started stuttering, I didn't know. Didn't know she had surgery." He pointed at me and said, "She can barely stand." Jake tried to laugh it off, but it was a huge mistake. Dr. Thompson then turned to me and asked, in a calm voice, "Do you feel safe staying here?" That question hit me like a ton of bricks. It wasn't just a family drama anymore, it was a matter of medical and legal concern. I whispered, "Not really." And just like that, I could see Jake's soul leave his body. Dr. Thompson didn't waste any time. He pulled out his phone right there in the living room and started making a call. He wasn't shouting, he was just being incredibly efficient. Within 30 minutes, a private nurse showed up at the door. Can you guess who was paying for it? You got it, Jake. Dr. Thompson made it crystal clear to Jake that either my post-op care was handled properly, or he would report him for negligence. The kind of negligence that could stain his name in the medical and legal world. Jake went from demanding dinner to asking if I needed water in the blink of an eye. But it was too late. That night, as I lay there comfortably, with the nurse taking care of me and Jake scurrying around, I couldn't help but think about how important it is to hold people accountable. Healing is crucial, but making sure that those who show disrespect face the consequences is even better. My family background is a bit complicated. My parents, Mr. and Mrs. Miller, were always busy with their high-powered jobs. They were strict and often put work before family. Jake and I were left to fend for ourselves most of the time. Jake grew up with a bit of an entitled attitude, thinking that the world owed him something. And that's why he thought he could treat me the way he did after my surgery. But Dr. Thompson changed everything. He was like a guardian angel who stepped in at the right time. He showed Jake that his actions had consequences, and he made sure that I was taken care of. I'm grateful for that experience, because it taught me that sometimes you need an outsider to come in and set things right. And it also taught Jake a valuable lesson about respect and responsibility. As I look back on that night, I know that it was a turning point in our relationship. Jake has changed a lot since then. He's more considerate and helpful, and I can see that he's truly sorry for the way he treated me. And every time I think about it, I can't help but smile, knowing that justice was served. If you love stories where disrespect gets corrected immediately, then you're in for a treat. This was just the beginning, and there are many more tales of justice waiting to be told. So, if you're ready for more, hit that subscribe button and join me on this journey.